Alright, everyone, it's tough to see a good dude go bad, but Justin Amash has now said, oh, man, Donald Trump has engaged in a pattern of behavior that's impeachable. And of course, Amash is a Republican. He's sort of a contemporary offshoot of the Rand Paul thing. He's vaguely libertarian at times. It's like his problem with Trump, and he's opposed him before, has normally been from that particular perspective, not from a liberal perspective or what you would think of from a Jeff Flake, like, oh, Trump won't start enough wars, that's a terrible thing. Amash is sort of on the other end. He has a problem with Trump, like with the border wall. His big problem was fiscal, like the idea of allocating more money to anything pisses him off generally. And so it's not even about, for him at least, it's not like with the Democrats, they want the borders open because they want to enslave people. It's not like that. It's more like with Amash, he just doesn't fucking want to spend any money. So it's very funny. But I think he's doing this basically for vaguely opportunistic reasons. He is a fairly well-liked individual within the GOP. I don't know why he would choose this particular moment, however, to do this. He's like, well, I read the redacted, Mueller report and stuff, and I think he's engaged in a pattern of behavior that suggests he's impeachable. But the thing is, you're not reading anything that anyone else isn't. Nobody else is coming to that conclusion unless they're doing so for partisan reasons. Therefore, I have to assume that this is the fact that Amash is like born and bred part of that anti-police state movement sort of stuff that we've had over the last couple of decades. The funny part being that the same liberals that he generally opposes are the ones that want to take down cop block and stuff like that. I find it funny as well. I mean, politics makes really strange bedfellows, let's put it that way. But, he's not seeing anything that we're not seeing, so to speak, for the most part. There's nothing impeachable there. You can't impeach the president on a whim thinking that, well, maybe his angry tweets amount to obstruction. That's a pretty flimsy ground to stand on, for something like that. You're talking about bringing up officially impeachment charges against the most powerful man in the world. The threshold has to be a little bit high when you're thinking of doing that. What I would warn Amash of, and this is for purely politically pragmatic reasons, because generally speaking, I like Amash. So, as a warning here, you could end up finding yourself on the destructively wrong side of history, so to speak, politically. Because when we look back at Clinton, for example, he was impeached. And the Senate basically laughed it out and said, what the fuck do you expect us to do? There's no way we're going to remove Clinton for the things that you're charging him with. It would have been great if he had been removed for lying to Congress. He should have been held in contempt of Congress, and they should have taken action then. But by then it's a little bit late. But as far as him getting his cigar sucked, so to speak, nobody really cared. His approval rose several points after they impeached him. It was a freak show. It was a laughingstock. It was basically a show trial sort of situation for politically partisan reasons, and it never stuck, giving him the moniker Teflon Don at the time. The same thing is going to happen, I think, to Trump. What's going to happen if he gets impeached? And that's by no means even particularly likely, I think. It's possible. The Democrats might be crazy enough to try, but let's say that he is. Let's say that they impeach him, and they can. All they need is a simple majority of partisan Democrats within the House. Apparently Amash would vote in favor too. Yeah, they can definitely impeach him. What's going to happen is that the Senate, which is controlled by Republicans, is going to say, what do you expect us to do? We do not accept the premise that he obstructed justice. That's all you've got. You've got the Mueller report openly proclaiming there was no collusion. Here's the problem, though. The initial charge, the reason for all of this, the reason that Trump has to respond to anything at all, was the charge of collusion. Not Manafort money laundering, not Michael Flynn inappropriately conducting himself with a Turkish ambassador, not Papadopoulos lying while in the commission of the same fucking probe that was only started because of collusion, not because of Trump's tax returns, and not because of mean tweets. The Mueller report was sparked by a political hatchet job, partisan piece of op research conducted by the Hillary Clinton campaign that some of her staffers fronted to the FBI, didn't bother to tell him what its origins were, and it made its way up through the FISA court, Rosenstein, and triggered a multi-year to $30 million probe of the Trump campaign. No collusion was found. This is a retroactive attempt by a bunch of morons to justify their own faulty actions and their own shitty premise. Oh my God, Trump's tax returns. Oh my God, Trump and Stormy Daniels. Oh my God, Trump makes mean tweets. Maybe he obstructed. That's such a malleable definition when you're talking about the internet era anyway. It's like, let's say that you're being investigated by the police. You take to Twitter and you start calling the police commissioner names. Is this obstruction of justice? No, it doesn't hamper him from doing his job. If anything, it makes him want to prosecute you more. If anything, it just, when Trump insults Mueller or Comey or something like that, it's not making him any friends among these people in their inner circles. Quite clearly. But I think he was laughing the whole time because he knows damn well that he didn't do anything wrong. And at this point, with his approval higher, number one, and that does ultimately matter, at least to some extent. Look at it this way. Back when he was hemorrhaging, so when he was in the high 30s approval-wise, and it was a lull in his presidency, and he had this dark shadow over him, it would have been possible for them maybe to impeach him, and it would be more credible and wouldn't have helped him at the time. They waited, that they've totally miscalculated. They expected there, I think, genuinely more to be in the Mueller report. But it wasn't there. There was no obstruction. Only Mueller making an aside that they can't disprove obstruction even allows them to speculate on that particular charge. You can't just say, well, we can't prove that he didn't obstruct justice. Wow, that's an impeachable offense. There's no crime. Has he been charged with anything? Did Mueller say that he obstructed? No, he said that he didn't, to his best knowledge, obstruct anything. What are you going to impeach him for? A clear pattern of behavior. Really, what pattern of behavior? Ignoring your subpoenas? Shielding his executive branch from being witch hunted after like you did him for 2 years? That's not impeachable. There's no standing precedent for you to be able to impeach a president for doing this. Now, of course, as an aside, technically a partisan vote in the House can impeach him for whatever they want. They can draw up whatever articles and make whatever assumptions they want and front it to the Senate. But they're going to need evidence for the Senate to carry it forward, especially when the Senate has a few extra Republicans in it. It's controlled by Mitch McConnell, who by all accounts gets along at least tolerably well with Trump, unlike some of the other Republicans. Justin Amash is nuts for signing on to this. It might be a little bit of grandstanding. He's trying to have his day, his 15 minutes of fame or something. Okay, everyone has to make a living, so to speak. Now would be like the worst time to try to throw Trump under the bus because he's probably not going to get thrown under the bus at all. Amash might be committing political suicide here, essentially, by doing this. I'm wondering exactly what his strategy is, to tell the truth, which I think should worry his staffers ultimately more than Trump's people. That's about all. Peace out.